2 while still having an incredibly strong top side that can run away with early skirmishes.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. You know, my concern is if ShowMaker gets locked in under his tower, you know, if you get that push over to Chovy, the cooldowns are fairly long for Swain, and in the later stages, it can be difficult to get that hard commit fight if you do get disengaged by things like the Azir ultimate, or if they can actually kite you out, knock the Swain out once he pops his ult with the Poppy ult. All of these things are big concerns for me with this pick. That being said, I am really interested to see if it's going to be Ignite Sejuani as well on the top side. I think against Maokai, especially with when you have that pairing with Viego, it would make a lot of sense to really go for this aggressive summoner, and Nuguri is going to do so. So, you know, there is going to be attention up towards Doran, who I think has been at times disjointed somewhat from his team, so they are going to really try to focus on this.
Well, we'll see whether the tree can survive. Of course, burning down the tree certainly does make some sense in my mind. My immersion well and truly in place. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Match point for Gen.G. Kia trying to get to maximum games against their opposition. They haven't failed to do so far this year. Should be a possibility. And Chronicler, I wanted to talk to you about this particular matchup, Swain versus Azir, because this is something we saw in the LCK a whole lot of times.
We really have, and I think the Swain in particular is a pick that, as Damwon might be looking for a little bit of early aggression, at the very least going to sweep, try and look for warrants, unable to find. Has mainly been a counter to the Azir in the sense that Azir in some matchups, I think the Victor is a really good example, can still have very high offensive pressure when combined with a jungler, especially something like, as, of course, gotta get the chance in. And the Swain, for Damwon specifically, with the style that they've played thus far, I think is a pick that works really well, because we haven't seen it this much throughout the entirety of Worlds, but domestically, it's been very, very strong as, ShowMaker.
All right, everyone's going to turn up. ShowMaker gets the information pretty quickly.
He's fine.
Yep.
But they're going to steal the red away, right?
Yeah.
You know, we'll see if they can actually do anything about this, though, because Canyon is starting on Raptors, so he's just going to give it up, because he already uses a smite, so for sure he's just going to give it up. He's just going to clear towards top side, I think. But now with Kellin moving over, they're going to be able to push him off, and Peanut sees the Raptors are gone too, so he gets the bad news. He's just going to be starting leashless and about 30 seconds behind.
And they also have to walk over this ward as well, so Kellin and deokdam.
I think they missed XP.
Yeah, they definitely missed the money.
That's huge.
Yeah, this is actually a phenomenal start here for Kia, although, I mean, that trade didn't exactly go in deokdam's favor, but he has Severum, so I guess that gives him a sustained advantage, not to mention the fact that Kellin's going to be there to shield him up. But here we go. Prime Gaming, by the way, guys, is giving away 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter, and make sure you put in today's secret code to get bonus entries. ShowMaker lands the Never Move pretty nicely there onto Chovy to start things off.
Yeah, nicely done. You know, always when you are playing against these first strike matchups, you've got to be on point with that poke, trying to just chunk it off, you know, as frequently as you can. We'll see if Chovy can get the shove here or not. If he can kind of keep ShowMaker pushed under that tower, you know, it is going to be, I think, a lot more difficult for him. But Canyon already hovering here towards mid, but bot lane again.
Yeah, that's a cleanse out already here. Summoner spells traded, though, as Kellin had lit him on fire.
And what's big here is that Lehends isn't level 2 yet, because while Ruler was able to get XP from the first wave, Lehends actually ran into trouble, and there's a reason why Aphelios is seen as such a well-rounded AD carry, because especially with Calibrum and combining with the harassment of Lulu early in the lane, is I think Canyon still got the wolf.
Yeah.
Peanut going. Peanut still only level 2.
Yeah, the Ragdoll Poppy not having the greatest time into the Viego this time. And Canyon just going to be able to take some shellfish.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's looking good for Damwon in the early game.
This could be a double scuttle angle as well. I mean, Peanut's just going down towards bot, but like, where's the gank pressure? He does get level 3 now off the creeps. He leached some XP and hit 3 there, so they may not be expecting this, and they can have the wraparound and the collapse onto Canyon.
Oh, he knows now.
Yeah, the heroic charge is going to be able to get the stun onto Canyon there as well. The smite has to come through just to keep him alive as he dashes. Ruler's going to dash on over, though. Could be a disaster. Vision of Empire flies in, and Canyon, he's like, where the heck do I go? How do I get out of this? The answer is you probably don't as dangerous. Peanut's going to throw a buckler at him, and that's first blood.
Man, that was so clever from Gen.G. Peanut, realizing he was so close to level 3, just goes down to Tribrush, soaks XP to hit level 3 himself. Without that, you can't actually go for that sort of a play onto Canyon, but Canyon getting aggressive there. He could have taken a free double scuttle and then cleared towards topside, but he wanted to take more camps away from Peanut.
And what happened there was Canyon used a Scryer's orb but didn't see Peanut, so he made the call as deokdam.
Yeah, trying to turn this one on its head. Peanut's going to come through. They have a control orb, but they'd already overstepped. Another buckler comes in. They get the flash out of deokdam. And now Kellin actually finds some space for himself, so they will be able to keep themselves alive. Skippy available for Kellin, so he should be able to make his way out. Gen.G trying to fight back.
That is just massive from Peanut. You know, being able to get the kill, gets the first blood, then down towards bot where Ruler and Lehends are struggling straight up in that 2v2. It was going great. You know, you push back deokdam, so they're going to be able to potentially push us in and reset. We'll see if they can actually crash the wave. But deokdam loses both his summoners there, and now we'll have to play this lane a lot more carefully. Isn't necessarily going to be able to push this up, but Canyon here trying to deny the crash. And if Ruler gets caught here without a buy, when deokdam arrives, it's going to be difficult.
Oh, they don't have vision. They're going to be looking for this. deokdam isn't there quite yet, but with how far up he knows, there they spot him. Will be figured out here. But still, very good lane state here for DWG at the very least.
Yeah, exactly right. Peanut is going to continue the invade, though, as he heads towards this top side. Should be able to grab himself the enemy blue buff. So Gen.G still in a good spot, but as you can see by the gold, not really too much has gone awry. Glad that we haven't looked towards top side, because Sejuani versus Maokai kind of goes without saying there, as Chovy, Vision of Empire, is going to do a bit of damage to him. I think the Azir is probably fine, despite being down 10 CS.
Yeah, going to be feeling not too bad. ShowMaker has done a really good job connecting with these never moves. You know, got to give him the credit for that. Already has, I believe it's 8 souls collected there, so, you know, a good amount of bonus health. He was up to, I think, 96 bonus health or so. So looking pretty good in that mid lane matchup. Also
see again, even though deokdam was forced to use the summoners, not going to get taken down there crucially, so is able to build up a CS lead due to the waste that they got Dragon as well. So even though DWG's early game could be way better, considering the fact that Gen.G got that first blood after Peanut was able to dodge the Scryer, it's overall still relatively okay for DWG.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Not getting that crash on the bottom side of the map, I think it's just absolutely huge
100%.
here for DWG. As Nuguri takes a turret shot, I believe. No, actually it was just the one last one coming through for the minions, so he's going to be A-okay. As Doran, he may not.
Oh, they have Ignite. If they can actually do this properly here, the Maokai should be dead.
Well, let's see whether they can do it. The Ignite is already down. Twisted Advance has been used, but the ulti to come through, the fade away from Nuguri, and he just walks it out. That is a beautiful first blood going over to DWG.
That was flawless, but Peanut is here, and Nuguri could be in trouble. Peanut has flash.
Trying to get on forward, doesn't have steadfast presence now, as he's just ushering this in where he can. But 2 versus 1, Poppy versus these two, this is dangerous, and he has to flash to get himself out. Does make it out with a phase rush, but that was dangerous.
And that's huge. Even though Poppy uses Hex Flash very well, the offensive pressure that you have around a Herald that is coming up in 30 seconds is huge, and now DWG should be able to take that uncontested.
And I'll draw your eyes towards the items, right? This is not a tanky Poppy. He's not a Pommy star here. It's a tier 2 Boots Rush. Which is great utility, very common on the tanks, but does mean when you get caught by that stun, the turnaround damage is going to be massive. That dive, though, was masterfully done there. You know, being able to start it off with the Ignite, so Nuguri gets the aggro guaranteed, then pulls back, hits him with the passive stun, then the ulti to follow out, all while tanking up the tower there and allowing Canyon free fire.
And you also see the power and why this Sejuani and Viego combination has been denied multiple times within Worlds as well, even though, in particular, Viego has fallen pretty far down the priority list as far as junglers goes, because the amount of auto resets that you get combined with Sejuani's passive, especially if you add Ignite, is just kind of revolting. And we talked about this bot side, Lucien Nami, not looking too hot, and DWG this time around looks to have pressure almost every lane, and as we said, Heralds should be for the taking for them. They started up.
And the pressure really isn't on them in the same way, right? I do think there's great scaling still, you know, especially at the top 3 for Gen.G, but, you know, you look at deokdam, he doesn't need to really get anything done. He's chilling. He's staying in his lane. He's farming it up, looking for 3 items here. He's going to be really, really happy. You know, when you have that Lulu to back you up, it can be such a threat. And I will say, Swain as well from ahead is very difficult, especially when paired with one of these enchanters to actually deal with.
And we actually saw, it was Swain versus Azir. It works for the Swain if you're able to create those early leads.
Yeah.
We saw Faker versus Closer was a perfect example of this. The Swain flashing over these Emperor's Divides and just solo winning teamfights. This is a thing that has happened in the LCK so far, and ShowMaker already in this lane is doing fantastically well against Chovy, whose laning phase on Azir has always been pretty impressive. This time around, not necessarily having that kind of a performance.
Yeah, hasn't been as dominant thus far, but you can see the invasion, the push in here for Vision from Gen.G. Peanut getting in, trying to track Canyon as much as possible, and they're looking for it.
Yeah, Ruler dashing forward. deokdam going to get the wild growth now, though. He has the crescendum. So much damage here, and the Keeper's Verdict won't land. Still, Peanut gets himself closer to the turret, and he will make it out.
deokdam's Aphelios just hits different, man. Kellin with the peak wild growth as well. We joke about the skill of wild growth as, yeah, ShowMaker has ultimate. I don't know about this one, Chovy.
Demonic Ascension has the flash over the Emperor's Divide as ShowMaker. He has the explosion available as well, but he never moved. He pulls him in, and the Swain, feeling inevitable, walks after him, just drains the Azir dry.
And that is exactly why we have faith in Damwon when they go a little bit of meta. The amount of power that these laners individually have shown when they get their comfort is just on another level.
And also, this is a Damwon here that are down. It's match point for Gen.G, and they are making these aggressive plays. Kellin is emote spamming in the bottom lane.
I mean, that backstep from ShowMaker was so damn clean. Backstep on Chovy's ultimate there so he doesn't get knocked back. Then the flash in, over the top, hits another never move. The last one he needed to be able to finish it off.
And now deokdam has Guild Force. And I've seen enough deokdams with PTA and Guild Force to know that for Gen.G, playing on the game now is going to become infinitely harder. And we do see, and I agree with you, Azil, and I'm happy that you pointed out earlier, this is also the first time where it doesn't feel like Damwon is very heavily disadvantaged going into the mid to late stage of the game. As long as they keep even, if they pick up an extra Drake, you know, get a small lead, just make sure that deokdam gets the mid to late, they're very happy. Instead, what is happening is they're setting up a lane swap here to funnel more gold into this Aphelios.
Well, this is perfect because you already have the Herald, so you move up towards top. Peanut is here to try to cover a potential dive, but the tower is so low that it would be very difficult for them to actually hold this here. With the Herald getting dropped down, it should be an almost guaranteed first turret going the way of Damwon.
Yep, they have no threat up here as well. There's not a lot of damage between Poppy and the Maokai, so the Rift Herald's going to go down. This turret should be dead. Yeah, Keeper's Verdict could come in to try and deny, but he's not actually going to use it to stop the charge. He wants to try and go for some sort of a fight with this ultimate, but doesn't use it.
Well, I think the reasoning here is Chovy and Ruler weren't moving, so they're never going to be able to delay the charge, you know, to actually stop the charge, I should say.
Yeah, right. It will eventually come in.
Exactly. If one of your carries are moving up, then maybe you can actually get up there and force it, but Nuguri on bottom side, Ruler in trouble.
Yeah, just going aggressive here is Nuguri on this Sejuani. Still holds on to the Ignite as Ruler looking a little bit scared under this turret, and you can see the Piggy able to move forward. Vision of Empire spots out Ruler and also puts the fear into him as Damwon moving towards that top side. Polymorph onto Doran. The turret will survive on very little health right now.
They're trying to hold it as best as they possibly can. They don't want to give this over pre-14, but it is very, very difficult because you're having Peanut locked in this lane, sharing XP amongst 3 members. Canyon's already back to farming, so now Damwon don't really have to force the issue here because they're getting more on the map. Ruler's being pressured. We saw that Nuguri is taking a tower plate down in bot. Canyon's back to farming the jungle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Here it is one more time.
Need a replay.
Just watch the backstep. That backstep there was beautiful.
And then the fact that, as you point out, Chovy not able to get away, goes for the flash, and then the never move. And Swain went ahead, is one of the most frustrating champions to play into, and something we haven't really highlighted that is outside of Azir in the late game, the range that is available for Gen.G is fairly limited, right? You have Ruler who kind of needs to dash in, that's risking you of a never move. Doran and Peanut are self-explanatory, and I don't think they're killing ShowMaker here.
Well, we'll see whether they can. ShowMaker goes golden, buying time for deokdam to get in there. There's the Emperor's Divide, but you can see he doesn't care. He just presses R. He's just going to say, well, everyone, please stand in here. I'll drain all your health bars.
Yeah, deokdam shows up, and that's going to push them back. Canyon at the same time taking the second dragon here. This one is going to be Hextech, which would be really nice for them. The additional slows there are always so good when you are playing Swain, the ability to stay on top of them. Gonna be interested to see if ShowMaker rushes his Zonias or if he goes for Rylai's. I'm such a fan of Rylai's on Swain because the movement speed difference there, being able to actually keep up on top so you can have that perma ulti is so effective.
The best part for ShowMaker as well is that he doesn't even need to be a damage threat with an Ignite Sejuani, with Viego, especially with deokdam. Well, yeah, I was going to lead up to that. Max, stop interrupting me. Obviously, that was the big reveal. Unbelievable.
You were going to listen.
I thought I could trust you.
Well, I've done this to you before. How are you not completely aware?
Impervious
to the guy that just shows up to the bookstore and just yells Snape kills Dumbledore.
Yeah, no, that's exactly me. That is exactly
unbelievable.
You just got to get to your point,
But just when I'm reading. That's the best part.
Yeah, that's true. I actually whispered in your ear. Everybody else is fine. They have no idea.
Appreciate that. Good looking out for me, at least. Not for him.
Don't worry. I'd always have you back, Isaac. Chronicle it, not so much. But we are going to have the turret falling down here as Nuguri secures that one.
So I will say, you know, on the Gen.G side, I think a lot of it becomes about the playmaking. We did see the backstep there that was beautiful from ShowMaker, but I still think Azir ult as disengage on the Swain, and especially the Poppy ultimate, is going to be so critical. Because if you can get the Swain to actually commit ult, and then disengage with the Poppy ult, and be able to have that timeout, Swain without ulti is really low power in these late game team fights.
And it's important to highlight as well is that as much as I like a draw from Doran, and I feel like specifically when deokdam is on Aphelios, the team kind of transforms and warps around how good this player is on this pick. But overall, Doran have had issues with closing out games, have had issues with actually closing it. And Gen.G has proven this year, I think, that when it comes to their mental, they are not the team of eternal second place players that they once were, right? Like we've seen them come back from 10k deficits multiple times throughout the year, and as you point out, I think with Azir, double front line, and Ruler on a carry that has a lot of agency, you can never count out Gen.G. But overall, this game does feel very different from the previous two because I don't see a solution for Gen.G when Doran just stacks a bunch of Hextech drakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult, right? They can kind of push the issue here, and they have created a near 4,000 gold lead, plus 2 dragons, which are around about 1,000 gold worth of stats each. And when you're really kind of looking at the totality of that, it is very, very threatening. Going to TP in here towards mid, continue to pressure. Nuguri going to look.
Yeah, there it is. Ruler has to cleanse immediately. The Moonlight Vigil goes wide. The Tidal Wave is also going to do the same thing, but buys enough space as Aqua Prison is going to put Shirley in the sky for a moment, but now Damwon are going to push forward, and they barely needed the Rift Herald as now the dashes come in. Damwon, they want even more here. The culling wipes out the wave, but is it going to be enough? As now Peanut down to 50%. He uses the Herald to get himself out of the fight, but ShowMaker's right under the turret. The Demonic Ascension is massive as the pullback. He is never letting anyone move. This Swain is insane. And Damwon are still pushing forward. Another never move hit, says Peanut. You should have got the message. He doesn't miss on these.
It's never move, and it's never miss. ShowMaker is going off. Oh God, as we say it, he pulls all of Gen.G into a game 4, gentlemen. Who is this guy? ShowMaker going off, almost carries the last game, and in game 3, match point for Gen.G. It is ShowMaker refusing to lose.
And you see that giggle from Lehends? That's the, oh, we're going to game 4 giggle right there, because I felt like this game might be still on the cusp of pullback for Gen.G, but now Domo needs to make a colossal mistake because with this gold going over to ShowMaker, deokdam also picked up a bunch of kills, by the way. He's currently sitting on 2-0, and those Drakes are going to be stacked.
I just want to see a highlight reel of all the never moves that he hit this game because it is ridiculous.
He hit all of them in this period of play. It was just only hits.
Yeah, it's just insane. Moving in, looking for the fish on here. Pulls back Peanut. Peanut is able to get away. Nice charge to the Herald to escape, but then Doran goes in.
And nothing to me tells the confidence that Damwon still has as the fact that Nuguri and Kellin get swept away and they still move up in a 3 versus 5.
3 in a row.
Yeah, that's 3. And we're just going to have to hold that thought for a moment as now deokdam trying to dash his way out. Peanut is going to taxi himself on Canyon, moves his way out, but in comes Nuguri. They're going to secure the Lucian, and now Damwon are looking for even more. That may have been the back-breaking play here, as Damwon just have Gen.G on the ropes. This is the biggest lead that we've seen all series.
And it's understandable because Gen.G know they need to go for desperate plays at this point, so they try and pull the trigger on deokdam, seemingly out of position, but if deokdam has red and white guns, He's never out of position. Doesn't happen. And as a result, that's 3 Drakes and a monstrous gold lead for Kia.
And it's back-to-back ults that Nuguri is connected on Ruler. Ruler doesn't have his cleanse because of the previous one that was actually nailed on him under the tower. So he forces the cleanse. Next time they fight, he hits another drifting ulti there. But this has just been an absolute amazing showing here from ShowMaker as well as deokdam. You know, the carries here stepping up. They're talking about it on the analyst desk. You know, Chovy saying Chovy and Ruler, the 2 most reliable carries in the world today. ShowMaker and deokdam, though, now to be outdone.
Well, yeah, Peanut is a little bit going rogue, but still has Face Rush, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Poppy can just do what she wants.
It's a good trade, because he does force out the ultimate. Yeah. The downside is, I don't think it really matters, because hold up, teleport.
Ruler's in the ruler position, exactly right. He is going to be able to dash out of that one. There's the flash as well. Didn't have Gale Force available, but Summon a Spell is going to get him to safety.
Yeah, not feeling confident that Cleanse would have done it. You know, he still had the Cleanse available there, but felt he needed to commit the Flash anyway. And if you feel you need to commit the Flash anyway, it's better to use it first instead of using both here. But Damwon now having the pressure on here, if you can get the proper guns onto deokdam, if you can get White Gun here, you can threaten early Barons. So they have a really good way to push the pace of the game. In 3.5 or so, they're going to be forcing Soul. Gen.G, if you don't want to threaten there, well, you're going to be giving up Soul and then potentially even a Baron.
Not going to flip it this time, though, right here.
Oh, no. Please don't, Damwon. You don't need to. You're in a great spot. You have gold leads. You hit deokdam is going to hit an IE at what, 24, 25 minutes into the game.
He only just went and bought those components, so he's got a bit of time to get there. But yes, it will be early.
Very, yeah. And they don't even need to really get there because even without that, he is just very, very fed. And overall, if you look at the items, as Nuguri can't hit them all.
He doesn't really wait, does he, on these? But he might be punished. Vision of Empire comes in. That bubble was amazing from Lehends, but he's so tanky. The Nature's Grasp comes through, though. There's the Wild Growth. Nuguri survives for a long time, but now Chovy picks up the kill. The Moonlight Vigil to answer back, but it's not enough to get any kills on the exit. So, just a pick off there for Gen.G, showing signs of life.
And this is exactly what Gen.G has run into in the past, or Damwon rather, as a Canyon.
Yeah, Canyon. He's going to walk it out. It'll be fine, as Nevermove is going to miss for the first time that I've seen this game.
And these are the moments that as a Damwon fan, you're like, oh no, no, calm down, Damwon. Play for the soul. Don't take any risk. You don't need to, because as we've pointed out in the past, at times there have been issues for this team. But in the grand scheme of things, Gen.G get a kill on Nuguri, it's nice, but not going to mean too much for the overall state of the game.
And I mean, you look at the map, there's just no vision in this Dragon area really for Gen.G. It's going to be very difficult to approach. You know, they do have a couple wards. They have this as a potential flanking ward. They have this ward here. You know, they've got a couple kind of shallow wards down, but it feels so hard to actually even get over there, let alone be able to get through the Swain that is going to be clogging up this corridor.
Yeah, Chovy didn't get that memo, Azale. He's now going to have to do some alcove gaming and get himself out of this one. The Demonic Ascension's going to come through. The Emperor's Divide is just going to be stopwatched. Beautiful play once again from ShowMaker, who is just owning this mid lane matchup. And, okay, I guess Sejuani just got a kill as well. And now Kia. What can they get off the back of this? It's a minute and a half on the Hex Straight. Can they get Baron? There's a White Gun there for deokdam.
The saving grace here is that the kills happen on opposite sides of the map. So, at the very least,
Gen.G, they're going to go Baron.
I mean, ShowMaker's ready to get Baron, as you can see. He's already got the Smite equipped.
Double Smite.
Yeah, this will mean that the 50-50, not going to be so much of a 50-50 if Peanut is in the area.
But you have Soul Point in a minute.
Yeah.
So you definitely should not do this. I mean, I want him to, but I want more games more than I want him to, you know, go for a cheeky Baron. As
Lehends was Nami in this game, guys. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Nuguri has been very good with the ultimate so far this game. You know, has been firing them off constantly, has a lot of CDR, you know, Frozen Heart, you know, has an additional Kindle Gem plus the CDR boots here. So low cooldown and, you know, being very liberal with his ult usage, but has really paid dividends thus far. And Gen.G just aren't really being given the time to slow it down and scale up.
The only saving grace for Gen.G is that deokdam wasn't actually able to finish out his Infinity Edge. That doesn't make the fight good, as Peanut.
Yeah, speaking of which, these ults not really missing. Peanut gonna have to flash to get himself out of the way, but that means that they are pushed out yet again. That stun barely going wide. Peanut is going to walk his way through. So, The Baron's still up and available. Gen.G with so much control of the map.
And how in the world does Peanut actually get in for an attempted steal now, right? It feels like you kind of just have to give it up. We'll see if Gen.G want to make their final stand, or if they want to try to flip it at the Baron, maybe.
Here's the neat thing. He doesn't. Doesn't happen. There is no conceivable way, as long as Gen.G makes sure that Gen.G, as you point out, can't go for the counterplay. But look at this. They're sending Viego. What can you do? Even with Pack Skates, there is no amount of gaming that's going to offset the gold that is currently available. Soul now for Gen.G, and no sweep in this quarterfinals, everyone.
Absolutely not. Chovy is just going to get taken down under the enemy turret. That is going to remain alive, and ShowMaker will be able to claim the kill. This is it, gentlemen. We are finally going to have a series that isn't just 3 games long. Although, I've said that in the past with these two, and maybe that was the ultimate curse as Gen.G looked down the Baron.
No Renekton, no Nidalee. I'm feeling good.
No, I'm very scared. The better we feel, the more likely someone's going to lose their hair. At least this time it's Azir, but still. Damon, they've started this one up. Peanut is at the back of the pit. Nature's Grasp to come forward. The culling does a fair bit of work here from Doran, from Ruler, sorry, as there is the ult. The Keeper's Verdict going to get so many out. As he pulls back, deokdam, he flashes into the Baron pit, but he's now tanking it up. ShowMaker is just massive, though. He secures the Baron, and he can now flash on top of Gen.G. I have a feeling this one's the backbreaker. This one is the game 4 guarantee that Gen.G are needed.
I think that should do it. Dom 1 roar to life in this 3rd game here off the back of an amazing ShowMaker performance, making his mark on this series.
Just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This inhibitor will go down, and Gen.G, they looked completely unflappable this game. Often, teams will be down 0-2. That would make them play more nervous, more scared. Looks like Gen.G were just charging up, but they're going to have to win this last little skirmish. Canyon going down very low, but it's deokdam that's securing the kills. Chovy goes down first. Lehends going to come through now, and the Nexus will go down. Here we are, game 4, ladies and gentlemen.
And I want to highlight again, Gen.G down match point after a game 2 that looked winnable until the very end. A 40-minute slugfest. Come in, say, okay, we get it. We ban Yumi. It's fine. We tried working around it. It's not happening.